All right, welcome back, you guys. Today we are going to do a little bit of review. Let me get back to the right screen here. Today it is the 11th or 12th of January, and I'm going to first do a quizzes with you, reviewing sonnet, or maybe we've already done that. Let's see. And then I'm going to talk about villanelle today. So a review of sonnet, as we talked about not too long ago, was that we studied two types of sonnets. We studied Italian sonnets, also called Petrarchan, and we studied the sonnet called Shakespearean sonnet. So we talked about these notes from the other day, 1-6 and 1-7, that the Shakespearean sonnet, of course, written by Shakespeare, he wrote 150 of them. They have 3 quatrains. Remember, a quatrain has 4 lines. So they each end with a rhyme scheme of A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and then a rhyming couplet, G, G. So those always go into the E's, F's, and G's. They are 3 stanzas, 4 lines each, and then the 2 stanzas listed there. Unlike the Italian form, okay, so sonnets are very specific in their rhyme scheme or their rhythm or their pattern. Unlike free verse is just no meter, no rhyme scheme necessarily. But the Italian form or Petrarchan form has an octave, which is 8 lines, A, B, B, A, B, B, A, and then a sestet, which is 6 lines, C, D, E, C, D, E, or some version of C, D, and E. So that also makes 14 lines, as well as a Shakespearean sonnet, because sonnets are 14 lines long. There's no rhyming couplet at the end of the Italian form, and it never goes past the letter E for rhyme scheme, unlike Shakespearean goes into the F and the G. So that was the difference between Shakespearean and Italian. Italian's also called Petrarchan. That is what we talked about the last class period. Now today, we are talking about villanelle. So you should have your poetry notes open so that you can grab these off of here and open up your poetry notes to villanelle, which I probably did give you a little help there, it looks like, as I look into that. So villanelle is another type of poem, and villanelles have 19 lines. So they have 5 3-line stanzas, which makes 15 lines. And then they have a 1 4-line stanza, which is a quatrain. So 15 and 4 makes 19. They have specific rhyme and repetition to make it chanting like. So I'm going to look here at Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night with you. Looking at this poem on the screen by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Okay, so here you see 3 lines 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So stanzas, 5 stanzas of 3 lines, and then 1 stanza of 4 lines, meaning a quatrain, making up 19 lines. So that is, do not go gentle into that good night, and that follows the whole 19 lines with much chanting, like it's consistent. The other thing you'll notice is there's end stops with commas and semicolons and periods. There is an area of enjambment between right here at the end of bright. Enjambment, meaning you carry on right to the next line and you don't pause because there is no end stop. And same thing with sight. Night and light, right and night. So A, and day and they, that would be your B's. So ABA, 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 and then you go into ABA, ABA, A. Okay, so it does end in a rhyming couplet, the 19 lines. So that is an example of a villanelle. And I'm going to show you a little kind of a funny YouTube video of Back to School. This is with Rodney Dangerfield. It's kind of a funny movie. I'll stop it towards the end so we don't have to listen to him swearing. He's going to say the poem.
The Dylan Thomas poem. Do not go gentle into that good night.
I don't know. No. Maybe.
Thornton, think.
What's going on here?
Philip, relax. It's my turn. Do you remember it?
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn in rage at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late. They grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Brave men, near death, who see with blinding sight. Blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there in the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light.
Thornton, what does that poem mean to you?
Okay, so that's just a little example of a villanelle with the use through video and the movie Back to School. And he's trying to recite that poem. So again, that's a villanelle. And we're going to listen to the waking and pay attention to the pausing and the message that's portrayed in this poem called The Waking.
My name's Tom Moran, and I'm the head custodian at O'Neill Middle School. It's in Downers Grove. They have a good, clean, safe environment so that kids can learn and the teachers can teach. The Waking by Theodore Rathke. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. I feel my fate and what I cannot fear. I learn by going where I have to go. We think by feeling. What is there to know? I hear my being dance from ear to ear. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. Of those so close beside me, which are you? God bless the ground. I shall walk softly there and learn by going where I have to go. Light takes the tree, but who can tell us how? The lowly worm climbs up a winding stair. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow.
I want you to think about how this poem relates to you and how, you wait to get up, take your waking slow, possibly enjoy each day, do the best you can every day. So try to relate it to yourself in the theme and the message that's created. And it definitely has a rhythm or kind of a pattern. And this is also a villanelle.
Great nature has another thing to do to you and me. So take the lively air, and lovely, learn by going where to go.
So in that sentence, it's saying, nature is going to take us just like it does with all things in nature. So take that to heart and enjoy each day and learn by going where to go.
This shaking keeps me steady. I should know. What falls away is always and is near. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. I learn by going where I have to go. It's a very positive poem. It's very life-affirming. I always like the lyrical aspects of it and the way the words just fit together, and it just flows so easily and so melodically, and it has such a powerful resonance. It stuck with me ever since I read it when I was at high school, I believe. And it's just basically just get up and get doing.
So get up and get doing before your time is done, right? So that's what his message is in that poem called The Waking. So get up and get doing. And some of you need to get up and get doing and live life and move along and make the best of each situation before your days are done. Okay, so that's an example also of a villanelle called The Waking that I just showed you there. All right. Next, I want you to find in Schoology this document for poetry, because you're going to be comparing different types of poetry. So if you go to the poetry folder and you open up the types of poems stanza chart, okay, so open that up. And I want you to be able to fill yours in. There's some parts that you can already fill in at this time. So you should be able to fill in sonnets, okay? You should be able to fill in all of this for sonnet at this time. Okay, so again, you should be able to fill in sonnet, and you should be able to fill in quatrain, couplet at this time, and you should be able to put all of your stuff in here for villanelle. Okay, so sonnet, villanelle, couplet, and quatrains are all areas that you can fill in at this time on this document, because this document is going to be a document that will be due on 1/14. Okay, so 1/14. So open that document up in the poetry folder. It's called Types of Poems and Stanza Chart. And fill in the number of lines for sonnet is 14. The number of lines for villanelle is 19. And then go back to your notes to figure out what are the types of stanzas. What are the types of stanzas? We put that in your notes for sonnet. Okay, here are the stanzas. It's all listed here. 3 quatrains, and then that would be 3 stanzas, 4 lines each, and then 2 stanzas with an end rhyme. And then the Italian form is listed in your notes, as well as villanelle. For villanelle, that would be 19 lines, and then it has 5 3-line stanzas and 1 4-line stanza. So for villanelle, 5 3-line stanzas, 1 4-line stanza. And then you can do the rhyme scheme and repetition there. Okay, so you should be able to fill in sonnet, villanelle. Couplets is 2 lines. Quatrains is 4 lines. Tercet happens to be 3 lines. Okay, and of course a couplet is found in what type of poem? A couplet is found in a sonnet, for sure. Okay, a sonnet. So you can fill those areas in the types of poems in stanza chart. Okay, that's not due today, but you could get a start on it. All right, to wrap this up, make sure you're completing your notes for the Villanelle section and working on your types of poems stanza chart document where you can fill in like sonnet and villanelle stuff. Secondly, your weekly reading doc was due last Friday, and then make sure that you have weekly reading doc 4 through 6 going, because on every Friday you'll do one part. And then there's a graded ed puzzle for 111 or 112, whatever your distance learn day is, for 10 points, and that's in the distance learn folder. So I'm going to stop my video at this time, and let me find that where it goes.